website right now and download my free course on alternate picking mastery. It contains 5 essential exercises that will take you to alternate picking mastery faster than you can imagine. And then I've included my method of how to lay out a practice plan in just 1 to 2 minutes that will absolutely boost your results like nothing you ever tried before. So go download it right now. It's free. We're talking about speed. The previous video we talked about accents. Please go back and watch that because you need to if you want to, get the value out of this one. When we are practicing with accents, we're grouping notes together in order for the brain to be able to process them much faster, because every accent becomes a pattern that it can fire off with one button. Ba-da-da, 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 right? And there's another way of practicing this that will really put a big fat line under the fact that you want these notes to be grouped. And this way of practicing is actually much like trying to hit the hoop with a basketball. And I'm usually, if you've been into guitar practicing for a while, you've also heard the analogy that you make mistakes when you practice. Just make mistakes because, you have to be willing to make mistakes in order to get it right. But that is absolutely untrue when it comes to building speed or picking or chords or anything. You don't need to make a lot of mistakes. Why would you when you can do it slow and perfectly and build a perfect pattern and then speed that pattern up later? When you practice basketball, you can't slow things down. There's gravity. You have to throw that ball, hit the hoop, right? And the ball has to pass through, and you have to evaluate all the time. So you basically, please get into this, see if you can remember, or any similar thing like kicking a ball into a goal. You have to try, basically, right? On a guitar, we can do everything perfect at a slow level of speed and then build that pattern up bit by bit. But when we're practicing this, we have to throw it as well as we can. And then once we see the ball, either we hit it or we don't, and then the brain evaluates, okay, how did the result is right there. Did I hit it? Did I not hit it? Was it far away? Was it just through the hoop? Was it a swoosh, right? And depending on the result, then we kind of look at the feeling we had when we did it. It's a feeling. It's a totality of the movement. Okay, that was too much. And not, okay, let me try again. Right? And we try to adjust this feeling of throwing the ball to the result we get, so we get the right result over time. It's a complex thing we can't be conscious about, but that's what we do when we're practicing that way, not on the guitar. But once you start, grouping 6 notes together under one accent, you can practice in that way, which is magically, fantastically effective. Because you can do the same evaluation process of this is one group of movements, right? There's lots of muscles involved. You have to have the right balance in your body, and you have to push the ball just in the right way, right? It's a pattern of movement. And the same thing goes here. That's one pattern of movement, and you can practice it in the same way you practice basketball, throwing a basketball. Because if you take a little break in between, let's say you can't do it without the other form of practicing where you use the metronome, sitting down in front of the TV and do endless repetitions of the same pattern. But once you have that up to a certain amount of speed, you can start taking that accent, that group of notes, and then practicing playing it only once. Much faster than you can really do it. Right? Like you throw the ball, but you can't really do it, right? You can't really hit that hoop. Maybe if you're lucky. And you do the same thing here. You go, I missed a couple of strokes there. Hey. But you evaluate just a little bit between each throw, right? Like between each 6 notes. And you can go over, it's like a meditation. Let me see if I can get it right. Don't tense up, because tensing up will create a totally different neural pattern in your brain and body. And so you're learning nothing. You have to see if you can relax. Yeah. See if I can get that upstroke, that string shift better. Right? And this takes like 10, 15 minutes. Whereas in front of the TV takes hours, right? But this is such an important exercise. So if you have the accents down and you do your little practicing fast, which is basically what it is, then there's a huge amount of influence on your brain saying, I want this to be a pattern. See, I have an accent that allows the brain to learn it as a group of notes instead of each individual note, that it's way too slow. And you're actually practicing as a group, like a brr, brr, I want this to be brr, to one spasm, right? And that really works. I call it the pause and evaluate, because that's what happens in the brain. You actually evaluate. How did that feel? How did I do it? How did that feel? Boom, sorry. It's the same process exactly as when you're practicing like that. And you can do that if you use the other method as well, of using the metronome, getting your accents right, playing in time. Once that pattern is really ingrained in your body, you can do it automatically and easily at a low level of speed. You sit down in front of the TV and then you just do it hundreds of thousands of times while having a good time, right? Don't go, hundreds of thousands. It's enjoyable, right? Because you can really see the results on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, and then you end that practice session after sitting there for a couple of hours by, okay. And the cool thing is, I can't stop talking about this. The cool thing is that if you've been practicing like, totally perfect repetitions, totally relaxed, you've gained a lot of control. And once you start doing, you feel that added control at a higher level of speed. Really amazing. So, say you do this Monday, you practice 2-3 hours in front of the TV, right? And then you finish off with 15 minutes or of this. Then Tuesday, you do 3 more hours of in front of the TV at a little higher level of speed, because now you're a little bit faster. And then you do and you can just feel the added control, the added ability to catch the right note, do the string shift. So these two things really work quite miraculously if you do them enough. So happy practicing.
Subscribe for more free videos. Do it. Do it now. Do it.